Hi there, it's Brenna Rogers. I am back to share a response for Funk Treatise 5th edition, exploring key themes from pages 141 to 150, focusing on learning strategies, philosophical acceptance, and personal transformation. These concepts resonate deeply with my experiences as an artist, teacher, and individual. Throughout this analysis, I'll discuss thoughts on 6 specific sections, connecting the text to my personal reflections to offer insights into how these ideas have shaped my understanding of life. The first section is, depending on how we arrive at the answer, how well is the lesson understood? I found this section particularly familiar because it highlights how different learning strategies can impact understanding. The emphasis on the connection between arriving at an answer and lesson comprehension is especially relevant to my role as an art teacher. So you can see I'm in my classroom right now. One specific point that resonated with me is the importance of repetition and practice. I often use this technique to reinforce key concepts and ensure that my students have a solid grasp of the material. Another strategy I frequently employ is using collaborative activities. I found that working together on projects and discussing ideas and vocabulary with peers can significantly enhance understanding and engagement. Also, self-reflection. That's a crucial component of my teaching practice. At the end of each project, I encourage my students to reflect on their learning experiences and identify areas for growth. This process helps them internalize the lessons and develop a deeper understanding of the material. All 3 of those were really specific points from the section, How Well is the Lesson Understood, that stuck out to me. The next section I wanted to discuss was tempo sapio archi on pages 143 and 144. Hoping I'm saying that word right. I found the breakdown of tempo sapio archi into its constituent parts to be very helpful in understanding its meaning. The combination of tempo, speed, or pace, sapio, knowledge and understanding, and archi, rule or government, creates a unique concept that seems to emphasize the importance of balance and harmony between these elements. In the context you've described, it's clear that tempo sapio archi is intended to represent a more equitable and inclusive form of governance that transcends traditional gender-based hierarchies. The use of Übermensch suggests a higher level of being or consciousness that is achieved through this balance. While I'm not familiar with this term in my own studies, it seems to be a thought-provoking concept that could have significant implications for discussions about leadership, governance, and social justice. I would be interested in learning more about the specific context in which this term is used and how it relates to other theories or philosophies. The third section I wanted to discuss is being called to serve and what that feeling is, which is on pages 144 and 145. I find the concept of being called to serve fascinating and thought-provoking, but I also believe it's important to acknowledge that this feeling is not universal. While the writing beautifully outlines the various aspects and feelings associated with this calling, I want to emphasize that it's often driven by unique personal experiences, passions, or hardships. As mentioned, a sense of compassion and empathy is often a cornerstone of this calling. However, I believe that this compassion can be cultivated through various life experiences, including personal struggles, exposure to different cultures, or witnessing the suffering of others or oneself. For some individuals, these experiences may trigger a deep-seated desire to make a positive impact on the world. Furthermore, I think it's important to consider the societal and cultural factors that influence our understanding of service. In a capitalist society, there's often a strong emphasis on individual achievement and self-interest. This can make it challenging for some people to prioritize the needs of others. However, I believe that fostering a sense of community and interdependence is crucial for cultivating a call to serve. I believe that it begins with how a person is raised and taught to view people around them. I feel that this section being called to serve is insightful. I believe it's essential to recognize that this feeling is not always present and can be influenced by various factors. By understanding the personal, societal, and cultural dimensions of this calling, we could better appreciate its significance and encourage more individuals to engage in acts of service. The fourth section is, are and as powerful? Is the beginning of creating thought, just as is the beginning of creation, which is on page 146. I found this section on and particularly interesting because it shed light on two sounds I've often used without giving much thought to their deeper meanings. The author's comparison of the two was thought-provoking and helped me appreciate the cultural and spiritual significance of each. I was intrigued to be reminded that can have a deeper meaning. As noted, it might be used as an expression of contemplation or hesitation. This suggests that even seemingly insignificant sounds can carry hidden depths. While at times, like in a professional setting, using so many and filler words lends to a lower ability of putting one's thought together, and it may end up making a person look unprepared or shed to having a lower communication level than someone who doesn't use as often. The section's discussion of as a symbol of the ultimate reality was with the quote, "It is believed to encompass the past, present, and future, representing the eternal and unchanging nature of the universe." That underscores the power and significance attributed to the sacred sound. The cultural elements, the then, the now, the future, versus which almost ends there. Overall, this section was a valuable reminder of the nuances and complexities of language and its cultural significance. It has inspired me to pay closer attention to the sounds I use and their potential meanings. The next section is by Alan Watts. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. This section spans page 147 and 148. I find the analogy presented in this section quite resonant. The idea that individuals are interconnected with the universe, much like a wave is with the ocean, aligns with my own philosophical musings and artistic practice. As an artist, I often feel a deep connection to the natural world and the universe at large. My work often explores themes of connection or flow of energy within a person. The analogy of an individual as a function of the universe reinforces this belief that we are all part of a larger cosmic tapestry. Not just as an artist, but also as a teacher, I hope to instill in my students a sense of wonder and curiosity about the world around them. This analogy provides a powerful lens through which to view our own place in the universe. By understanding that we're interconnected with everything, we can cultivate a greater sense of empathy, responsibility, and appreciation for all life, which kind of circles back to some of these earlier sections that I've focused on. The next section, which is the sixth that I'm going to talk about in my response, is very few can actually promise you things will get better, but the funk can guarantee things will be different. And this is located on page 149. I found this statement, very few can actually promise you things will get better, but the funk can guarantee things will be different. Very intriguing. It seems to convey a sense of philosophical acceptance, mainly about the unpredictability of life. The phrase funk is used in a unique way, suggesting a force or energy that ensures change, regardless of whether it's positive or negative. The statement is a realistic reflection of life's complexities. It implies that while we may hope for positive outcomes, the reality is that change is often unpredictable and can have both a positive or negative consequence. The use of the word guarantee in relation to funk is interesting as it suggests a level of certainty about change, even if the nature of that change is unknown. It implies that change is an inevitable force that we should be prepared to embrace rather than to resist. As someone who grew up listening to music from Funkadelic, I can't help but think of the rhythms, music, and freeness that can be felt when you get into a trance to the tunes. The music can sound consistent yet unpredictable with the different vocals or the different instruments that can play into it. Similar to the way the quote suggests, change is inevitable but uncertain. So in conclusion, the Funk Treatise, 5th edition, offers a rich tapestry of ideas. I recognize how it explores themes ranging from learning strategies to philosophical perspectives and personal transformation. Throughout these pages, and I've only read the 10 pages, 141 to 150, I found particular resonance in the discussions of the repetition and practice, collaborative learning, self-reflection, but also the power of change. The concept, tempo sapioarchy, introduced a unique perspective on governments and social justice, emphasizing the importance of balance and harmony. Additionally, the exploration of being called to serve highlighted the significance of compassion, empathy, and how personal experiences shape our own desire to contribute to the world around us. The discussion of and and the analogy of individuals as functions of the universe provided genuine insights into the power of language, the interconnectedness of all things, and the inevitability of change. Overall, these pages of the Funk Treatise 5th edition invites us to embrace life in its unpredictable ways, to find meaning and purpose in our interconnectedness with the universe. By understanding these nuances of learning and language, personal growth, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation for the complexities of human existence and our own role in shaping the world around us. I'm excited to see how the rest of this project turns out. Thank you for inviting me to participate. Have a good one.